A friendship that once seemed unbreakable may have just reached its breaking point. The Summer House Season 10 Reunion Part 3 delivered plenty of shocking moments, but nothing hit harder than the emotional confrontation between Amanda Batula and Ciara Miller. What began as an apology quickly turned into a painful conversation about trust, loyalty, and betrayal. Ciara made it clear that she is still deeply hurt by Amanda's actions and isn't ready to move on. Despite Amanda's attempts to explain herself and apologize, Ciara questioned whether her longtime friend truly understood the damage that had been done. For Ciara, this wasn't simply about a relationship or a misunderstanding. It was about feeling betrayed by someone she considered one of her closest friends. As emotions ran high and tensions filled the room, viewers watched one of the most uncomfortable and heartbreaking exchanges of the entire reunion unfold. So what exactly happened between Amanda and Ciara? Why is Ciara refusing to accept Amanda's apology? And is this friendship beyond repair? Welcome back to Star Life Precious. Let's get into it. To understand why this reunion moment became so emotional, we have to look at what led up to it. Throughout the season, Amanda and Ciara appeared to be on good terms. They laughed together, supported each other, and seemed to have the kind of friendship that could survive almost anything. But beneath the surface, frustrations had been building. As the reunion continued, Andy Cohen pushed the cast to address some of the unresolved issues that had been circulating among fans. That's when the conversation turned to Amanda and Ciara's friendship. Amanda acknowledged that mistakes had been made and attempted to take responsibility for her actions. She explained her perspective and tried to reassure Ciara that hurting her was never the intention. But Ciara wasn't convinced. While she listened carefully to Amanda's explanation, it became clear that the apology wasn't providing the closure Amanda may have hoped for. Ciara explained that trust is not something that can be repaired with a few words, especially when the hurt comes from someone you considered a close friend. The room grew tense as cast members watched the exchange unfold. Some appeared sympathetic toward Amanda's efforts to make things right, while others seemed to understand why Ciara was still struggling to move forward. What made the moment even more powerful was how emotional both women became. Amanda appeared genuinely upset by the possibility that their friendship could be permanently damaged, while Ciara spoke openly about the disappointment and hurt she had been carrying. For viewers watching at home, it was a reminder that some of the deepest wounds on reality television don't come from romantic relationships. Sometimes they come from friendships that people never expected to lose. And as the reunion moved forward, another cast member would find himself facing intense scrutiny as questions surrounding Wes Wilson once again took center stage. Just when the conversation surrounding Amanda and Ciara began to settle, attention quickly shifted back to the person whose name had been at the center of so much drama throughout the season, Wes Wilson. By the time Reunion Part 3 aired, Wes was already facing criticism from both viewers and members of the cast. Questions about his decisions, his relationships, and the way he handled certain situations continued to follow him. As the cast reflected on the events of the season, Wes was forced to answer for some of the choices that had damaged trust within the group. Several cast members challenged his version of events, while others questioned whether he had truly understood the impact of his actions on the people around him. The discussion became increasingly uncomfortable as old wounds were reopened, and unresolved feelings came back to the surface. What stood out to many viewers was that West appeared to recognize just how much damage had been done. Rather than dismissing the criticism, he found himself in the difficult position of listening as cast members explained how his actions had affected them. The reunion made one thing clear. The consequences of this season are not disappearing anytime soon. Even after months had passed, emotions were still running high whenever West's name entered the conversation. That alone showed how significant the fallout had become. And if fans thought the reunion would finally bring closure, they were mistaken. The drama surrounding West, Amanda, and Ciara is expected to continue beyond the reunion, with new conversations, unanswered questions, and lingering tensions carrying over into the special Aftermath episode. As viewers wait to see what happens next, one question remains. Can these friendships be repaired, or has too much damage already been done? While Amanda, Ciara, and Wes dominated much of the conversation, They weren't the only cast members forced to answer difficult questions during the reunion. As the night continued, Andy Cohen guided the group through several unresolved conflicts that had been simmering throughout the season. Old disagreements resurfaced, cast members challenged each other's recollections of events, and some friendships appeared more fragile than ever. One of the themes that kept coming up was accountability. Several cast members were asked to explain comments they had made during the season, while others were questioned about whether they had been completely honest with their friends. The reunion also gave viewers a chance to see how much certain relationships had changed since filming ended. Some cast members appeared to have moved forward from past conflicts, while others clearly still had unresolved issues. What made the reunion so compelling was that it wasn't just about romantic relationships. It was about friendships, loyalty, trust, and the consequences that can follow when those bonds are tested. Throughout the night, emotions ranged from frustration and disappointment to sadness and regret. There were moments when cast members laughed about past situations, but those lighter moments were often followed by serious conversations about hurt feelings and broken trust. By the end of the reunion, it was clear that not every problem had been solved. In fact, some relationships seemed more uncertain than they had been before the cast sat down together. And that's exactly why fans are so interested in what comes next. The reunion may be over, but many of the questions surrounding these friendships and relationships remain unanswered. As the Summer House Season 10 reunion finally came to an end, one thing became clear. Not every friendship survived the season. Ciara made it clear that she is still struggling to forgive Amanda. Kyle was left questioning the trust he placed in some of the people closest to him. Lindsay continued to challenge the explanations she was given, while Wes faced criticism from multiple cast members over the decisions he made throughout the season. Although apologies were offered and emotions were shared, many of the wounds exposed during the reunion remain far from healed. The reunion may be over, but the fallout is not. With friendships fractured, trust broken, and questions still unanswered, fans will be watching closely to see what happens next when the cast moves forward from one of the most dramatic seasons in Summer House history. What do you think? Was Ciara right to reject Amanda's apology? Did Wes deserve all the criticism he received? And can these friendships ever be repaired? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Summer House updates, reunion breakdowns, and reality TV news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.